How interesting. So a lot of good things come to a good end. I just ran into somebody I used to live next door to when we were out at the base and out by Eglin, and I couldn't believe it. I found out a few days ago, but I looked on the internet that my former landlord passed away, Mr. Goodpastor, and he was a retired dentist. He had like 47 properties, and he seemed real nice and made me a bunch of promises, and I'm going to tell you, 99% of those didn't come through. So, but we moved because our neighbors were just absolutely problematic, and it was to the point of we couldn't get sleep, and the fighting and the noise and banging up my Cadillac and repeatedly, and it was just, and I never drove the car. I was working on it. They really trashed my poor car up, and so anyway, come to know that the horrible guy on the corner that was terrorizing my daughter, he, I guess, was put out of the big unit that we wanted to rent, but they put him out, and then the landlord had died, and the guy on the corner, Ken, who was a dear friend, and I felt sorry for him, and I used to always cook and give him food, and he and his wife were splitting up. She left, and he had a real good job, which he still has, because the people he works for are like family to him, and he had heart surgery, nearly died, and all that right before we moved. And I used to bring food over to him all the time so he would eat, because he would drink and every day, and it was so sad. And then he had moved some people in that needed a place, and that was kind of weird too. There were a lot of drama, but Ken has actually remarried and quit drinking and smoking, and dresses nice, and they say you wouldn't even recognize him really, but he is just incredibly changed over. And I'm so excited for him, because I thought this person would tell me that Ken had passed away, because I said, well, how's Ken? And he said, oh no, he's got a big house and doing really well and remarried and amazing. He said you wouldn't even know him. I was like, oh my gosh. And so that's wonderful news, because I thought surely he'd have died, because he carrying on with that drinking and everything, and right after he had that huge surgery on his heart, I knew he wasn't going to make it. But he did well. I'm so happy. And my neighbors used to hate me for loaning him money or feeding him and stuff, and he was always very kind to my daughter and I. So he's a pretty straight up kind of guy around us, and anyway, the other neighbors that were next to us, a black and white couple, and a girl used to be a showgirl years ago at Old Matador. She, did her drug run years ago and kind of messed herself up. And she doesn't do the drugs anymore, but she's really hard to handle. And real loudmouth, real chaotic. it's very, very, very extreme. And she doesn't drink or do drugs that I know of at all anymore. But she's just like that normally. But her and her husband are split right now. And he's got a protection order for her not to come around him. And he left Kentucky Fried Chicken. He was the chef there. And the food was so perfect when he worked there. And I knew he was gone from there because I had gone there like twice and they didn't even know who I was talking about. And he is working at Walmart in Niceville now on night shifts. And she's not allowed to come around his work or anything, so that's pretty intriguing. And I don't know if he's with somebody or staying with his son or who lives in the old unit, but he seems super happy. And he was always a real nice guy. But he seems super happy now, and Ken used to try to tell him, look, you need to wear the pants of the family, and you need to put control on this situation and everything, and this guy never would. But so he and his wife are split up now for several months. So, but he looks just fantastic. You know, sometimes things change in life. You know, it's not always perfect. A marriage does take a lot of work, but people can change too. And it really, you know, if it's too much problem, it's better to just get away from it sometimes. You know, because it can really wear you out mentally and physically with the stress. You know, I'm not saying walk away from everything, you know. Some things absolutely must be solved and sorted, but, you know, that particular situation, we lived next to those people. And it was just horrible. As a matter of fact, the first 2 nights of renting there, there was a big deal going on at 5 o'clock in the morning with the sheriffs back and forth 2 and 3 times. And I'm like, oh hell, this landlord promised me that it wasn't going to be like this. And so it's just, I'm really, really, really glad, especially to hear all this wonderful positive news today about people I've thought about and worried about, you know, since we left there. And there's so much good that has changed. You know, it's all changed to good. It is just like overflowing with good. It's so wonderful. So, like I told this person I was talking to, I said, you know, life is a blessing. And you are so lucky to have had everything turn around. And just keep on going forward and staying positive. That's what you got to do. If you hang around trash, you're going to become trash. If you hang around people that are negative all the time, you're going to end up in that negative world with all that drama. And that's just, it's not good for your health, and it's just not good. You know, happiness and love really help life and your health. So try to surround yourself with that. Last night was creepy as hell. I was over at the Walmart uploading a YouTube vlog. You know, people pull in and out near you. I stay where the video cameras are and there's full light and stuff. I mean, you got to be close to the store to do it. You know, I'll go and make a purchase, and they come back out and use their internet. And there was a young black guy that parked like a space away from my vehicle. And people are in and out all the time, you know. And so I'm not really paying attention to it. And had a real nice black car, like a sports car. I couldn't tell if it was like Camaro or Charger or what it was. And it was like he was staring at me all the time I was there. So I put my hand up by my face, and I was watching YouTube while I was uploading the vlog. And so I just felt like, you know, this guy was just sitting there for me or something. And sure as hell, I decided to move after I got that uploaded. And I decided to drive around the parking lot. And when I was backing out, he was just looking at me and he yelled something. And I don't know who he is. And he seemed like he was in his 20s and black eye. And so I was driving around the parking lot. Well, he immediately backs out and it's like, follow me around the parking lot, which was really strange. And so then I mean, he literally like crosses my path. And so I decided to park over by the employees' break table, which is under the light, and the employees are there. And then the guy drives around the back of my car and screams out the window, and I couldn't understand what he was screaming about. And I was like, wow. But now this vehicle, there's like a bazillion of them just like this. So kind of creepy. I keep this vehicle real low profile. So all my other cars, you always know all my other cars because they're really fancy and chromed out and trimmed out, all that stuff. But I just keep this one neutral. I keep it nice, but I keep it neutral. But that was just really weird. What is this guy doing in the middle of the expressway? I know you are not. Seriously? You have gone crazy. He doesn't even have a license plate. The bike lane's way over there on the right side. Holy hell. Drugs must be good. You lost your mind if you're riding down the middle of that on a bicycle. Got so much to do. I think I'm going to cancel my car wash membership because when I went through there the other day, it hit my car and threw my mirror forward. I mean, all the way forward. My side driver's mirror. And it's never done that before. They did fix the blower because it was blowing a dent in my bonnet on the driver's side all the time. And they did fix the blowers over there, but I really like that car wash, but it's going to tear up my car. I have no interest in it. That one has brushes, but I have such a paranoia about automatic car washes, but maybe if I were to get a touchless, which I think is Calibri, but I'd have to check on their prices because their monthly prices were way too high. I did not like their blowers, they were too strong. They were like literally pushing dents into my bonnet as I was going through there, and I'm like, you know, I'll come out with dents permanently one day. I keep using that. I'd rather wash the car myself, but I don't have any way to do that except go with a hand car wash. And that's so expensive now, it's beyond belief. Sure good to see an old friend today. Such wonderful, happy news. Beautiful. So the evictions are starting very, very soon. And depending on the laws in your state on the normal evictions, you got problems. If you haven't paid rent in all this time, you've definitely got problems. Because they can literally call up the note on you. And if you don't have all that money, they can do whatever they want. I wouldn't want to have a debt adding up like that. I really wouldn't. That was one of the concerns when I was illegally evicted during the pandemic. Was I was still over that rent, so I would rather pay it, but being that I was 90% moved out at the time, I just didn't see it feasible. It would have been nice if I'd have stayed there and hung her all this time, because she sure deserved it. But I didn't. I always paid my rent. She took my $1,000 deposit. I left it nice, as I always do. I'm not big on renting. I've owned most of my own properties all my life, but I've only rented a few times. But I've always left it super nice, because you'll learn your lesson in California. If you don't leave it nice the day of checkout, I mean, they'll pick on you for every little mark and every little nail hole, and they deduct for all that little stuff. And they just do it on purpose, try to suck your deposits up. look like they're gonna fall down. The roofs are blowing on them. Oh my gosh. Did you see that thing in Miami? Where half of the damn building slid off? There's something wrong with that picture. It's in the structural, which may have been affected by the foundation. It just doesn't look good, and I hope that they evacuated the rest of that whole building and paid those people for a place to live, because I don't think it's safe. I think that building needs to be condemned immediately. There's something structurally wrong. And I just have a funny feeling it's in the construction of the building. You know, a lot of this construction, houses and apartments and stuff like that, people do some half-butt things, and it's really important to, you know, follow the architectural drawings, because they're there for a reason, you know. And when people shortcut and stuff, which is quite common nowadays, then, you know, things like that happen. It compromises an entire building. And when they said they only had one death so far, I have trouble believing that. I don't think all the people have been located. And I don't think there's just one death. I find that super hard to believe. And people were talking about, well, how did it pass inspection? Well, I don't even think they have routine inspections by the year for properties. You wouldn't know. And that unit, I think, was built 10 or 20 years ago or something. It's not brand new. California, they just tear everything down and build new stuff, just constant. It makes me sad, because, you know, there's so many beautiful buildings out there and neat places that they used to have, and now the rents are just grotesque down in the Southern California area, because they've had to build all these new structures because they claim stuff had asbestos in it and all this other crap.